Good morning and welcome to another presentation. In this short presentation I'm going to cover two law books which I think are fundamental to anyone trying to understand the legal system and or challenge something in court. Many people have asked me, well, what book do you recommend? How can I learn, certain subject? How can I learn court procedures? How can I learn this? How can I learn that? Many times we get into a legal system through necessity because something bad happens to us, and most of us have realized by now that hiring a lawyer probably won't do you any good. And there's certain aspects of the law that when we need to know it, we should have probably knew it yesterday because we're now in knee deep in some problem and we have to find an immediate solution. One of the books I would recommend, and this book is primarily written for Canadians, but it applies to anyone who's using or working in a system under the British Commonwealth. So that would be Australia, Canada, United States, and the UK. Now, even though this document, or this book, which is over 370 pages, what it talks about is professional misconduct, or they call it prosecutorial misconduct. And what it covers is what the courts are allowed to do and what the remedy might be, or the case references might be, if you wanted to launch a charge or a crime against certain individuals within the court or within the judiciary system. There's many different things that happen in a court which are not done properly, and it's through the ignorance of the law, basically, that people get messed up. And when they get messed up, it can cost them dearly, or if they launch their appeal appropriately and quickly enough, then they may have a recourse. Now, this prosecutorial misconduct is a hardcover book. It's the second edition. Robert J. Fraser, Queen's Counsel, wrote the book, which is a judge from Alberta. And I've given you the ISBN number. Now, if you've been involved in a trial and you don't think it's gone right, or that the courts allowed something that was not permitted, then likely within this book you're going to find a court case or several court cases, and many times it will give you what's wrong with the trial or what's wrong with the event that took place. And then it will give you a precedent court case from a higher court, and often it will also give you the excerpt of what the judge had to say about this misconduct. Now, one such case, I won't go through every one of them because there's quite a few, but one such case is they will try to attack the person. So when the opposing party, which is probably some agent of the government, doesn't like what you're doing, they will try to attack the person and blame you and state that you are a frivolous and vexatious litigant. And we would have to go into another whole presentation on this, but that's not the case. And the attack on the person is actually something that's not permitted, and the judge is not supposed to allow that. Another thing that the judge is not supposed to allow is if the opposing party is lying on the stand, committing perjury, we call it. And if you point that out, the judge has an obligation to put an end to it. Once somebody's committed perjury, in other words, told a lie in a court case, their credibility's out the window. And if the judge doesn't stop it, then technically your court case is void. Not voidable, it's actually void because the court loses subject matter jurisdiction when it allows things to happen which are outside the legal framework. Now, many times courts disregard statutes. You can point to a certain section of some statute and the judge says, I don't care about that. Well, the judge is now operating on his private capacity and you can hold him liable, him or her liable for such action. Another scenario is if they have two cases that run in parallel for the same crime or the same alleged offense. That's not permitted. That is double jeopardy violation. And that's outlined in this book as well. There's a number of things that are outlined, and I will specifically be doing a seminar or a webinar on the various misconducts. If you're not already subscribed to my mailing list, I give my contact information at the end of this presentation. Be sure to send me an email, and I will send you or put you on the mailing list. The other book that I would recommend that many people look into is Black's Law Dictionary. And there's several versions. I think they're up to version 12 now, possibly even higher. But I would start with Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. And sometimes you can find these used on eBay or Etsy or Marketplace. And if you don't know the definition of a word, you can likely find it in Black's Law, and then you can reference Black's Law. Because when you write course material or case material, you generally have to cite where you got your definition from. And so you can say, de jure, and then reference out what it says, and then reference Black's Law, page such and such, 4th edition. And this way, if somebody's trying to verify what you're stating to be true, they can go get Black's Law and verify it. And this saves the interpretation problem when you say something means one thing and somebody says something means something else, and now there's a controversy and you need the judge to sort it out. Where if you turn around and specify why you said, de jure means XYZ in accordance with Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, for example, page 1254, then you can use that as a reference. And there's many types of other words that you would want to look up in search of a remedy, whether you're the plaintiff or the defendant. If you have any other topics you would like me to cover, please send me an email with the topic and or to be added for your name to be added to the mailing list. I provided my email, smcdonal@kos.net. I will not share your email information if somebody's trying to contact you and I happen to know about it. I will send you an email, and then it'd be up to you to contact the other party. I hope you found this information useful, and I will be bringing additional information as time permits. Now, many people have asked me if I will still be running my seminars or webinars, whichever the case may be, within the UK. One of the problems that I've had within the UK trying to get this coordinated was it was before Christmas. And the other problem is that there's people all over the UK that can bring 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 people to an event. The problem being that I have to book that event well in advance, and if I book it for 30 people and 4 people show up, it's not very practical or profitable for me to do that. No, I'm not trying to make a huge profit on these seminars or webinars. I simply want to make some small profit for my time. But more importantly, I want to cover my expenses. And my expenses would include flying to the UK, flying home, meals, hotel, and renting or securing the venue to do this seminar. I'm more than happy to do it, but I need more people to basically get their friends together. And maybe now that the Christmas season's passed and we're coming into the spring and summer, this may actually, be able to take place. Perhaps it was a preconceived notion it would fly before Christmas when, Christmas and wintertime and all that was taking place. Anyway, if you're interested in such an event and have not been added to my emailing list, you can send your email to that address. For anyone that was on my email list, you will be getting an email shortly. So if you get an email from me, then you don't have to reapply. If you do not get an email from me within the next 30 days, or I would even say within the next 2 weeks, and you want to be added to that mailing list, please make your request known. Just put please add me to the mailing list. I will be handing out materials at this event, and when I do these events, and people have asked me to do 1 topic per day, as opposed to trying to cram all my topics into 1 day. So if you have a specific topic you would like covered, let me know by email, and if I can put something together, I will. I'm looking to do this within the next 30 days. Thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.